When you pay your mom or your mom and your papa born you good, you will never fall for Thomas Salah. This guy brought disgrace to our community. He disgraced Cabinet Janet. And the Quran says he should be your brother protector. Who know a bastard Madingo man? Who know a bastard Madingo man? When you pay your mom, they don't do that in the right way. All your papa or bastard or useless Madingo man will fall for Thomas Salah. We can do anything to destroy you if you your pa don't born you good. That's the way you're gonna vote for Thomas Salah. Your pa when he born you good, that means you vote for Thomas Salah. But if your pa born you good, when your pa your ma or your mom and your pa born you good, you will never vote for Thomas Salah. This guy brought disgrace to our community. He disgraced Cabinet Janet. And the Quran says he should be your brother protector. Who know a bastard Madingo man? Who know a bastard Madingo man? When you pay your mom, they don't do that in the right way. All your papa or bastard or useless Madingo man will vote for Thomas Salah. We can do anything to destroy you if you can't. Your pa don't born you good. That's the way you're gonna vote for Thomas Salah. Your pa, when he born you good, that means you vote for Thomas Salah. But if your pa born you good, when your pa your ma or your mom and your pa born you good, you will never vote for Thomas Salah. This guy brought disgrace to our community. He disgraced Cabinet Janet. And the Quran says he should be your brother protector. Who know a bastard Madingo man? Who know a bastard Madingo man? When you pay your mom, they don't do that in the right way. All your papa or bastard or useless Madingo man will vote for Thomas Salah. We can do anything to destroy you if you can't. Your pa don't born you good. That's the way you're gonna vote for Thomas Salah. Your pa, when he born you good, that means you vote for Thomas Salah. But if your pa born you good, when your pa your ma or your mom and your pa born you good, you will never vote for Thomas Salah. This guy brought disgrace to our community. He disgraced Cabinet Janet. And the Quran says he should be your brother protector. Who know a bastard Madingo man? Who know a bastard Madingo man? When you pay your mom, they don't do that in the right way. All your papa or bastard or useless Madingo man will vote for Thomas Salah. We can do anything to destroy you if you can't. When you pay your mom or your mom and your papa born you good, you will never vote for Thomas Salah. This guy brought disgrace to our community. He disgraced Cabinet Janet. And the Quran says he should be your brother protector. Who know a bastard Madingo man? Who know a bastard Madingo man? When you pay your mom, they don't do that in the right way. All your papa or bastard or useless Madingo man will vote for Thomas Salah. We can do anything to destroy you if you your pa don't born you good. That's the way you're gonna vote for Thomas Salah. Your pa, when he born you good, that means you vote for Thomas Salah. But if your pa born you good, when your pa your ma or your mom and your pa born you good, you will never vote for Thomas Salah. This guy brought disgrace to our community. He disgraced Cabinet Janet. And the Quran says he should be your brother protector. Who know a bastard Madingo man? Who know a bastard Madingo man? When you pay your mom, they don't do that in the right way. All your papa or bastard or useless Madingo man will vote for Thomas Salah.
Your political leader and president.
We can do anything to destroy you.
This man has only performed. But who is measuring?
Your pa don't born you good. That's the way you're gonna vote for Thomas Salah. Your pa, when he born you good, that means you vote for Thomas Salah. But if your pa born you good, when your pa When your pa, your mom, or your mom, and your pa born you good, you will never fall for Thomas Fala. This guy brought disgrace to our community. He disgraced Cabinet Janet. And the Quran says you should be your brother protector. Who know a bastard Madingo man? Who know a bastard Madingo man? When your pa, your mom, they don't do that thing the right way. All your pa or bastard or useless Madingo man will vote for Thomas Fala. We can do anything to destroy you if you can't. Your pa don't bone you good. That's the way you're gonna vote for Thomas Fala. Your ma, your pa, when he bone you good, that means you vote for Thomas Fala. But if your ma, your pa bone you good, when your pa, your ma, or your mom, and your pa bone you good, you will never vote for Thomas Fala. This guy brought disgrace to our community. He disgraced Cabinet Janet. And the Quran says you should be your brother protector. Who know a bastard Madingo man? Who know a bastard Madingo man? When your pa, your mom, they don't do that thing the right way. All your pa or bastard or useless Madingo man will vote for Thomas Fala. We can do anything to destroy you if you can't. When your pa, your mom, or your mom, and your pa born you good, you will never vote for Thomas Fala. This guy brought disgrace to our community. He disgraced Cabinet Janet. And the Quran says you should be your brother protector. Who know a bastard Madingo man? Who know a bastard Madingo man? When your pa, your mom, they don't do that thing the right way. All your pa or bastard or useless Madingo man will vote for Thomas Fala. We can do anything to destroy you if you. Ma, your pa don't bone you good. That's the way you're gonna vote for Thomas Fala. Your ma, your pa, when he born you good, that means you vote for Thomas Fala. But if your ma, your pa born you good, when your pa, your ma, or your mom, and your pa born you good, you will never vote for Thomas Fala. This guy brought disgrace to our community. He disgraced Cabinet Janet. And the Quran says you should be your brother protector. Who know a bastard Madingo man? Who know a bastard Madingo man? When your pa, your mom, they don't do that thing the right way. All your pa or bastard or useless Madingo man will vote for Thomas Fala. We can do anything to destroy you if you can't. Ma, your pa don't.
Okay, this is Jabate. We will play the tapes. We will continue to play it for Liberian people to understand. These are the kind of people who destroying our country. These are the people that are destroying Liberia. They only seek their own interests, belly-driven people. Like a young man who live in America, joined the military. Guy can't do anything in America. Had just sold himself again. We will continue to play the tape. And from this one, I'm going to feature another one, Randy Dapple, a nice guy, an educated man who supported George Weah during this election and turned around and saw the flaws of George Weah and said that George Weah ain't worth being president. He's he's lacked and vision, he lacked leadership, and now he's supporting. So these guys are considered as dogs. They vomit and they lick it. They vomit and they lick it. Only a dog can vomit and lick their own vomit. So please stand by and listen to Randy Dapple. See how they describe the president of Liberia, but yet they want to complain about opposition. So these guys are considered them as what? A prostitute, political prostitute. They don't have to jump from party to party, but they have nothing. They have no mind for themselves. Maybe they were promised something. That is why they left and now they got something or they're going back. But I'm sorry for them. These guys are the worst Liberians. They are not patriotic. They are unpatriotic citizens. So let us listen to Mr. Dapo, the engineer.
Your political leader and president. This man has underperformed. But who is measuring that? That's supposed to be you guys in the House of Representatives. And I listened to him say, oh, if you cannot perform, we'll let you go. If you are part of the leakage in the government, we'll let you go. Mr. Weir is underperforming his Akara's grade. You want to get one good proof? Look at the US rate. How hard it is in our country. And he cannot do nothing with a team to bring that rate down. Under the president administration, the US rate has hit the highest in the history of Liberia. He has the worst record now so far because the president has become tone deaf since January 22nd, 2018. He has become so stubborn to accepting constructive criticism and advices. And that gave me the sense even those that work around him, they are adapted the behavior of not listening to nobody. And what happens in the end, the results will start to show from one sector to another. And then when you tally it up, the entire country is a disaster. And that's why I keep saying that this president is a disaster. He's a failure. And the reason some of us campaign for him, it was not the expectation of what he's doing. But because after January 22nd, 2018, this president had purpose in his mind, in his heart, and in his entire body system that he will not listen to any sound advice. Matter of fact, anyone who provides constructive criticism, he takes that person as an opponent and opposition to him. And do you expect better result? The administration right now is only living on false hope. Every day they come, they give false hope. If they're not giving false hope, they're making baby noise. That's why you see Eugene Fagon today. Our deputy minister will come on Facebook and start to rain insult on Liberians who are working hard in this country. Rather than coming and say, you know what, I am coming to meet few Liberians communities so that we can discuss things. But he didn't do it. He got right on Facebook and started to unleash the frustration that they cannot solve in our country. The humiliation, they are humiliated themselves. But he came today and raining insult. You see how when incompetence grab you to the throat and you want to free yourself? This is a man from a government that should be coming. Even God like me, I'm here to speak to you guys. But at least I got my little note down here just to present the little discussion. What more about a man who is a deputy minister coming to this country? And the way our government system is structured, the Ministry of Information collect all the information from the different ministry and present it on Thursday to the people of Liberia, now to the world, based on the internet we have. But this man came, none of those things, with any information, but he came to attack people. You know, when people are limited in knowledge, when people are not inclined, that's what really happened. What do you expect from Eugene Fagon, a man who got 4 associate degrees? that your son and daughter will become better off than him. A man who sat in an African store and preached to Mr. Weir, and Mr. Weir got convinced that this man is the real deal. And today, after 18 months, this government cannot deliver. What do you think? What do you think? Do you expect any change from them? No. As long as Mr. Weir continue to remain with these people, and we continue to see negative results, and the country continue to head in the wrong direction, his talk show hosts, his supporters, the president, they all will become incompetent. My friend, nothing can harm when it comes to real planning. They say prior planning prevent poor performance. When you plan initially, you prevent poor performance. So you got a man, he came to America. He came to visit his family. He did not only come to visit his family. Perhaps he came to get some medical checkup. But he's running away from a country where the healthcare system is bad, the educational system is bad, and nothing works in that country for the common man. His children are in America here going to school. They're enjoying what the American government has to offer in terms of education, health, and you name it. But he defending our government that he is afraid to take his children to. Can you imagine that? You are proud of a government. You're bragging about a government. But your children in another country while you on the other side. And you got people here who join that fray. You got people who join that fray. Alright? You got people who join that fray and supporting that. The man came with no idea but to come and unleash a negative and disaster from Liberia. Nobody should listen to that man. And if you're a citizen, you listen to that man, then shame on you. Shame on you. Because you get in the country for nothing. You got no idea, no clue about why you even here. How do you measure success? How do you measure performance? This is a man, this Eugene Fagon man, I used to call the government prior to Mr. Weir government cartel. That they were having the weeks, the tennis, this in the government. And today, the way a President George Weir is running our country is almost like a gangster. You can do all the wrong thing in the government. You can be very incompetent. But as long as Mr. Weir see you to be a loyal person, it's okay. That is why I am saying that Mr. Weir has lesson. And you can get your driver lesson. Mr. Weir has issued lesson to citizens to be loyal to him by insulting anyone who speaks the truth. That's how dangerous that country is becoming now. This president called Weir is dividing that country so dangerously that time to come, brother will be against brother if they are not on the same political opinion. Sister will be against sister if they are not on the same opinion or one party. Because the president sat there and see citizens insulting people's moms, insulting people's parents. And now one day, he will come out as president and say, fellow Liberians, we need to be very civil in what we say and how we approach each other. He liking it. He like it a lot. And he enjoying it. That's why it is. He doesn't care. So, this government, they have failed the Liberian people for the time they've been in office. If you say you're going to blame opposition for document leak, then every one of you guys from the Weir administration might have well resigned as well. How do you prevent document from leaking. Many of you guys who work in different places in America, when you take training, who provided training? How the training comes to you? And what do you do? To prevent document from leaking, the document must be controlled. And it is called that document control. And every leadership should have password protection against that document. Or get a safe lock with a combination key to lock those documents out. If you don't have the technology by way of electronic means, that's what you do. People own their documents, they control that document, and they protect that document. That is the administrative part of document control. But the thing I'm saying, it will take the next 50 years for we and people to understand that. They ain't got no clue about that. No. They ain't got no clue. Because none of them, as far as I'm concerned, has ever worked in no kind of administrative area to understand what document control system. They don't have no idea on it. But because of you guys, and for the little time I'm spending here, I just want to pass down this information. Few of you guys may know it, or every one of you guys may know it. But the weird people don't have no clue about document control. Now let's go to the next part. Because we're looking at document management system, right? Every individual who owns major documents should have password protected and should be the owner of that document. Right now, at my place of work, there are certain documents that I own. If somebody attempts to open it, it will not be open unless I open it, and it will show that my password were used to open that. That's document control. I can go in there and make changes. When you print, they can get the print and know who all print and how many page or document you printed. Every day they will tell you. It's not rocket science to do. But this guy and the guy called Mr. Weir, all he does is buy Gordon dry gin, the 90% proof, and drink from daybreak to sunset. From Sunday to Sunday. That's what they do. And womanize. That's all they do. That's the thing they got 100% in. Drink Gordon gin from Sunday to Saturday. And then womanize from the same Sunday to Saturday. And then when things come to reality, when they look around and they don't have no solution, then they start going to opposition and start blaming them. Security is another component of document control. You may have a document system. How do you control these things from leaking? There are places in all businesses and government institutions you go, even where you work, what they say, you got security part down. No cell phone allowed. Do you guys remember during the election campaign where somebody went and recorded the president when they were looking at the election count? What happened to the security breach that time? That was the weakness there of the then Kennedy Weir. There are places that cell phones should not be allowed to enter. Because nowadays, cell phones are so sophisticated that you can even scan a document. You can do a camera picture taking, and you within a split second, you can pick up the document. So no cell phone allowed in certain area. No camera allowed in certain area. And there's something called shredding papers, where you shred paper, put it in a recycle, and shred them. And there should be no photocopy. Do you think those guys know it? No. All they know is to booze every day, drink every day, womanize every day. Those boys of the CDC government, those supporters of CDC, you saw what they did to Taylor Eureka. bamboozled that car up, intimidated the driver, and intimidated every supporter of that party. Our lady was in a cheetah dress. She got whooped, and up to today, nobody from the government, nobody came out to say, I condemn this. It's one thing to put in place fake investigation. Fakes, as in Donald Trump will say, fake news. Then for somebody to come out and say, we condemn the action. I don't care whether UA says something. And that's why I titled this as settling the political score with UA. If UA call Liberians cockroaches, that does not give us the right to say that we must carry on the kind of barbaric behavior. The country called Liberia under George Weah is putting the image of our country on a global platform as a dangerous place to live. We saw everything that happened throughout the election. And do you think, as a measure here person, will you be able to say that the election was fair? No. The Abu man, instead of him saying, thank God to our electoral process, he didn't thank the electoral process because Abu know that that electoral process was not something that was going to give him a victory. That's why he thanks Weah and he dished the electoral commission and the process under the bus. If you believe in your justice system, if you believe in your entity, if you believe your entity has integrity, wouldn't you commend that to give the Osa War thanks of Mr. Weah, who stood on a platform and said, I will make sure that no UA win election alone as president, and Abu can come out and say, thank you to Weah. That means the school has been settled. That means the school has been settled. So that brings me to this point. What type of country are we going now? Let's look at the Abu man for the second phase of the discussion. This is a man who was allegedly accused of embezzling some X money. He came out and said it from his mouth that yes, I committed the crime, I'm guilty. And then the CDC that came for change, the change for hope, did not set any tune to say thanks, but with that information. And where can we obtain that tape? Because if it is true that Henry Costa, they received $5,000 from George Weah as a bribe, then Mr. Weah need to be impeached. Then let me say this again. If it is true that Henry Costa can prove that George Weah bribed me with $5,000, and many of you guys out there know very well that it is true that Mr. Weah bribed Henry Costa with $5,000, then the Liberian people need to begin to call on their lawmakers to begin the impeachment process of Mr. Weah. And here is the fight. In my hand here is the Constitution. In my hand here is the Constitution. And Article 62 of the Constitution. Article 62 of the 1986 Constitution. It says, and I read, the president and the vice president may be removed from office by impeachment for treason, bribery, and other felonies, violation of the Constitution, or gross misconduct. So I will forget about the other indication. But if Henry Costa is saying that Mr. Weah bribed him with $5,000, then Mr. Weah had committed an impeachable act. So therefore he should be impeached. So that's what I'm saying. Anybody who knows whether it is true that Costa did receive $5,000 from George Weah, this is a ticket to remove Mr. Weah from office. Because if Mr. Weah actually gave Henry Costa $5,000 with an intent, that's what I said, it is alleged, and if it can be proven that Mr. Weah did give Costa $5,000 as a bribe, if that can be proven, then Mr. Weah had put himself in a category to be impeached. Because he had committed that. Let me see what my sister wrote here. Costa said that on his show. But he also said that because he was working for George Weah. Well, that will be turned over to the legal people, or Beth. Because it is one thing to work for somebody. You see, for those of us who are regulators, when we go to, let me speak on the consulting side. If you are a consultant and you're working for a client, and the client is in violation of certain regulation, and he or she know if that regulation is filed to the government, that individual will be held accountable, and they come and bribe you or your consultancy fee. That is a bribe that will be unacceptable. So whether it is true that Costa worked for Weah, but if the intent of that money was to cover all certain things, then President Weah and Costa, they need to make that clear to the people of Liberia. Let me see what Papa Flomo say. Weah took bribe of his private jet. I don't know. Papa Flomo, I don't know why you carrying this, but I'm just alleging this thing on what I'm hearing from Costa. And you are guys too, you need to really deep into this. Because if the Liberian people are well measured in what I'm saying, Weah might be forced to come out and make his side clear so that Costa cannot run away with this information. Because it is true, if it is true that Weah is taking this bribe, I'm giving Costa this money, and Costa is saying that it was a bribe, however he worked for him, as long as that streams of interaction, has something to do with bribe or bribery, then Weah is in violation of Article 62. You need to think about it, and you need to make a confession here tonight. I always told you guys that smart people make the dumbest mistake. When I tell you that Weah has created a violent society, we had normal days, we had lawlessness, we had control law on Ellie, and Ellie managed to control that law, and Weah pick it up. Instead of Weah controlling the guys, he allowed them to take over their own behavior. Do you guys remember A.B. Clement when he came up with that geographic system where when you in Pinville, you only ride your pen in Pinville and come to the road and go back, right? That's what we call control geographic. And it was working. Because at that time, people's cell phones were being jacked, women's purses were being snatched, because Clement was limited in implementing the entire reintegration of the war, post-war young generation that participated in the war. So with the limited resources he had at that time was to only restrict people from interacting with each other. That's what Clement did. But you gotta remember when Weah came, Weah went and broke that gate open and said everybody should be together. Think about this, to a zoo. And in a zoo, in a fence, every animal got their cages in there because they are different sets of species, dangerous, friendly. But then the zoo manager said, open the gate, let all the animals that come outside. Not that the people are animals, I'm just giving the best and easy example for you to understand. And then what happened? Everybody started coming outside. But did he have a plan? No. He never had a plan. And what started happening? The high rate of crime, people started taking ownership of their own behavior, and it started happening. And then what they did, they said, you guys are sedition, we support you because you support us. And that's why we're giving you now the teeth to go and bite out there. Mr. Weah was introducing violence into our culture. Remember, law and order. That's why we had normal days. Eddie had her little control. We are king and brought all these people outside and gave them that authority to say, you are sedition, go out there. As long your loyalty is to us, you are free to go out there. And when everyone is in charge, who is in control right now? And remember, most of the guys you see dancing in circles, they all have a resume that has on it former rebel or child rebel. Those are people who fought in the war and did bad things. And now you tell them that they can ride their pimpin anywhere, they can do anything, and even if they go ahead and do something in the New York CDC, no action will be taken. You are breeding them into a new environment. They are adapting new ways. And that's why over the course of the year, under the Weir administration, you continue to see violence in all shape and form. They will come and go to the CDC headquarters and start to act that they are the government in control. Reading statements such as the minister's daughter should not be XYZ. They go have campaign somewhere, they see the opposition, they infiltrate among them. Let me plug this thing here quick. They infiltrate among them. The latest one was jumping on. And when you go to the Bolivia City Hall, you see all of them lined up with Jefferson Koji. And even up to today, Jefferson Koji say his birthday and he clean the street. Or city mayor of your city that you live in. Tell me, which city you live in America that your city mayor will be cleaning the street and you will see young people chanting rebel songs. That is the manifestation of the violent society that we has created. It is not only local now. Now, even on Facebook, once you write something, say, look, I think what we is doing is wrong, they coming after you with insult, disrespect, and nothing we has said in regards to respecting our value system, because we himself is a victim. You know, when I said earlier, a few minutes ago, that the greatest mistake I made, here is where my mistake comes from. Look at Weir himself and look at the current society that Weir is leading as president. This is a man who grew up in West Point. This is a man who grew up in Nuku Town, who grew up in Cloud Town. Never had any sort of fundamental family value, societal value, and he now president of a country. How you think in post-war Liberia, a country that went to war, where young people were made to be war machine or turned into killing machine, took drugs, rape people, and you take a guy from the ghetto and making head of a government that is completely contradictory to a country that needs healing. Remember when I told you guys earlier that a friend of mine was trying to blame me? No. This is where now we do the distribution of blames. If the politician had done a good job, Uncle Joe would have been president today. If Uncle Joe had resigned after Eddie was elected second time, Uncle Joe would have been president today. Because we are came in as somebody who was the only person those Zogos, the war, post-war children generation saw at that time that could have made. We're going to discuss that I am now convinced that President Weah is very incompetent and he is a dictator. Once I get done with that, I will be discussing the prediction. I think you guys may have read my post that I made of Darrell Dillon in January. In January of this year, that I believe that he could become the next president. But we all learn few things because it's a long way to go and it's a process to go, and there are